Hi everyone. I'm so sorry for my absence. Um, I don't know. I haven't really been feeling a video. So I just didn't really make one. I don't know. I think I'm in a rut. Especially because I'm just today I will be finishing up my schoolwork, and by tomorrow hopefully it can all be turned in and I will be done. Which is crazy. I think the last time I made the video, I still had a little bit of work to do. I don't remember. It's been so long. But this video is made per special request. So that is why I am doing it. Not because I'm suddenly in the mood, but because this individual has been bugging me to make a video for some time now. Um, so I want to tell the story of me and my boyfriend. I don't think many of you know this, but I am in a relationship. And if you don't know, it's because he doesn't have a Facebook. So that's usually the reason. Um, no social media, no Instagram or anything. So it's hard to advertise it when the other person doesn't have one. Also, as you know, I live in New York and he is in Arizona. So I can't post pictures of the two of us together because we're not together really that often. So I kind of wanted to do a video about our love story, so to speak, because I know he's dying to know from my perspective of how things have gone, and because Josh, what's his name, Josh, means the world to me, and, it came from a really unlikely place. So, let's see. Um, I know I still said I would do a video on online dating, and I will, but this is part of that because we actually met online. I think I'm Plenty of Fish. I don't know. That must have been like my go-to when I felt I didn't know anything else. And I lived in a really small town in Arizona, and any kind of dating thing you used, you had to make the radius really large. Like if I was on, well, when I was on Tinder, I had to make the full radius like 100 miles because anyone within 5 miles was like two people, you know? Um, so there was that, or there was no people on it at all. I don't think they use Tinder that much out there. Um, Unlike the city where you have to make it like 1 mile. So that's what my sisters told me. Um, so we met and we started talking, and we hadn't been talking that long, and I don't remember even what we talked about. But I remember being interested from the beginning. I was interested in his pictures. I thought he was attractive. He was tall. He's 6 foot, and so I liked that. And he must have said something funny on his profile to catch my attention, because he did. And he agreed. I think we were like matched or something, and I think he reached out to me and was like, "Well, we may as well talk." Um, and I we did, and he uses Kik. For those of you who don't know, it's like a free app for messaging. Um, because he doesn't have cell service. So we moved to that platform, which is a natural progression in any situation. And we became close very quickly. We were talking all the time, and um, it was nice. I was happy because he was different than anyone else. He was understanding. He was funny. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It was just different. Like I felt instantly very safe with him. This feeling that I can be myself and he's not going to judge me because, his past isn't great, my past isn't great. And, although we come from completely different backgrounds, we can talk about anything. And he was there for me, and he would listen and be legitimately concerned. And I remember he would say such cute things, like I was stressing about something. He's like, "You should treat yourself, like go get your nails done or go to a spa or something like that." And I thought that was so sweet because it was like, you're a dude. Like, who are you? Why are you suggesting that? And two, I don't know, it showed, that he cared, in my eyes. I remember when we first met, I went and picked him up at his house, and I was so nervous. I was so nervous because I actually liked him. And um, we were driving back to my place, and he had to pee, so we pulled off on the side of the road. And because we were driving from Havasu to Parker, and for those of you who don't know, it's like a really long stretch of nothing, nowhere to pull over. So, he was an idiot and hadn't peed before he left, so really it was like the only opportunity. And I remember he got back in the car and randomly at that moment decided to kiss me, and it was awesome. It was a great first kiss. Um, really unexpected, and I don't know, I guess he was just trying to get it out of the way. You'd have to ask him for his side of the story on that. But he spent the night, we didn't have sex or anything, and he was really respectful of that, and it didn't really push it, and I think that's actually made us stronger, is that we didn't. Um, the best part about all of this was the next day, he was like, let's go do something. And I was like, what? And, I mean, obviously I had to drive him home, but he wanted to, like, hang out for a while. So we, like, went to a park by Havasu, and we just hung out and talked, and, I mean, he didn't, I got him back home in time before he had to go to, like, so he could get ready for work, but, like, we just hung out. It was nice, to be outdoors with someone, and, like, in the past I've been with guys who, it's not this feeling that someone's ashamed of you, but it's that they don't really want to do anything besides anything in the bedroom. But I got the feeling he, like, actually wanted to hang out. So that was our first date, and then we continued to talk, and then came time for our second date. And I had heard from him all day. I was going to meet him. I was already going to be up there, so we were going to meet and hang out for a little bit. And I get up to Havasu, and I do what I need to do, and I'm not hearing from him, at all. And I'm like, I'm not going to just show up at your place, first of all. Second of all, I'm not going to, or I don't even think he was at his place. I think he was at work. And he was supposed to let me know when he got home. And he was radio silent. And I thought he stood me up. I went home. Very confused and upset because I was like, that was rude. And I seriously thought he stood me up. And I tried to get in contact with him, and with Kik you can tell if he's read your messages, and I knew he wasn't reading them, and I just had this feeling that something was wrong. And then his brother reached out to me through his Kik and messaged me and was like, Josh got arrested. And I was like, oh shit. And he's like, but he really wanted me to reach out to you because it was the night that you guys were supposed to meet up, so literally right before he was supposed to get off work, he got arrested. So he missed our date, and he went out of his way to make sure his brother contacted me so that I knew I wasn't stood up. He could have just let it go. It could have just been whatever, like, no big deal, but he really went out of his way. And then his brother was like, what's your phone number so he can call you? And so I remember that first call I got from the jail. I had never talked to anyone in jail. I really hadn't known anyone who had ever been arrested before. And I remember how sorry he was. Like, genuinely sorry. He's like, I really wanted you to know how excited I was, and I didn't want you to feel like you were stood up or anything like that. I wanted to do it. It's just this happened, and then you know, we talked for the allotted amount of time, and, he's like, can I call you again? And so we talked again. And then we just started talking every day. I mean, I can't tell you how it progressed, but it did. And we would talk every day for as long as we could, as many times as we could. And, and that was for like a month. And then I remember, you know, we were talking, and I had visited him, and the visits were, like this, like a computer screen. And he was so excited to see me, and I was so excited to see him. And talking like that every day forces you to really get to know someone. And so, although we had only met once, within a month, we knew so much about each other. And honestly, we could have talked for hours if we could, and I was basically the only person he talked to while he was in jail. And so it became, something I wanted to do, not just because I liked him, but also, like, his family couldn't do it. And so, like, I know if I was in that situation, I would want something to look forward to every day. And so it became our thing. And I remember we didn't have like a specific time when we became boyfriend and girlfriend, but I remember us talking about this because I was like, when is our anniversary? Like, when? Because I don't know, just one day we just were boyfriend and girlfriend. And I think it was around my birthday, because I had said something to him and I was like, oh yeah, it's just great, my boyfriend's in jail or something like that. And we didn't really talk about it, but we wrote, well, I didn't mention this, but we wrote letters to each other too. And I still have them all, and it's super adorable. And we would write each other. I know he'd write me every day, and I tried to write him every day. So, he had something to look forward to. And I remember him writing in a letter that he wasn't, necessarily when we met looking for a girlfriend. He wasn't looking for anything, but he was happy with what had happened between us, that, I was his girlfriend. And, I felt good about that, because, obviously something in me made him change his mind. Um, and I remember, I can't tell you when we first said I love you, but I remember talking, we just talked about how much we liked each other. And, then we started getting like all like, this is crazy, but, I think I'm starting to get ready to say those words, and of course, we're like, those 3 words. And he brought it up first, and then I was like, I think I am too. I know it's crazy, but it's how I feel. And I'm sure he has a different recount of the story, but it's one of those things where after it was said, it's just like the biggest smile was on my face, and I'm sure it was bright red, and I just felt nice, and it came at a really natural point. It didn't feel rushed. It didn't happen right away, like with my ex, where he said it like within a week of knowing me. This felt natural. And the weirdest thing about this is the whole time he's been in jail, and like, you know, I would visit him and write him letters, and we would talk every day, but it still was crazy. I had a boyfriend that I loved in jail, who I'd only met once, you know, and I would talk to his mom because, like, he wouldn't be able to, and I would, like, relay messages between them. It was a crazy kind of whirlwind of a romance. And, when he got out in December, I was the one to pick him up, and we got to spend a few days together. At this time, he was in Vegas. And it's funny, we say that we've officially been together since October 30th. So we're coming up on our 6-month anniversary. But we've only seen each other twice. like in person. Now that he's out, we Skype as much as possible and talk every day. It's just crazy. And to a lot of people, it seems crazy because, I'm all the way in New York and he's in Arizona. Like, why even bother? But when you love someone, it's worth it. It doesn't matter how far away he is. I know one day we'll be together again. He's unlike anyone I've ever known. The love I have for him is real as opposed to with my ex, and I know that because I can be myself. He's been so supportive in this process, and obviously, sorry, I have like a hair on my lip or something, and it is driving me crazy. There it is. Probably fucking cat hair. Sorry. Um, it's amazing because he knows everything about me because, our relationship is based primarily in talking, and I think that's why it's so strong, is that we have to be able to talk, and if we can't, then there's nothing. Of course we're physically attracted and we do have that physical chemistry, but that came not, I don't want to say that came later because I was there from the beginning, but it was something that, like, he was in jail. There's nothing we could do about that. So if he was not attracted to me emotionally and mentally, then there would have been, like, why waste your time? So we have that connection too. And even though we come from completely different backgrounds, like, it's never been an issue because we just learn from each other, and I have never had someone who's more supportive of me, who is genuinely interested in what's going on. And just the other day we were talking about school, and he's like, well, what's next? What's your next plan? And he was asking, I was telling him about how I have to get licensed, and he was asking me questions about it, and was actually interested because, he wanted to know. He wanted to know what the next step was for me. And then, he was like, well, are you going to go back to school and get your PhD? I was like, probably not, because I don't want to do research, but maybe one day. And he's like, yeah, you could totally do that down the road. Or, when I'm having my panic attacks, I know I can reach out to him and, he'll help me calm down. And I hope when he's feeling that way, he reaches out to me. I think he does. And we've had our problems, don't get me wrong, but, he's my world. I love him with all my heart. I can truly say that, I love seeing him when I do. I love talking to him, and, he makes me feel confident and beautiful and smart, and all these things I don't feel about myself, I feel through him because of how much he believes it. And that makes me believe it. And I know you should believe it from within or whatever, but his support has made me more confident in myself. So he really wanted me to make this video, so I hope that it's satisfactory for him. He kept joking. He's like, when are you going to make me famous? I was like, well, I can't promise you'll be famous, but I'll make you a video about you. So here it is to Josh. On the 30th of this month, it will be our 6-month anniversary, which is crazy. I get to see him in May, and I cannot wait for whatever it is we decide to do. We thought about camping maybe, but I'm through the roof excited, that's for sure. So yeah, I wanted to share our story with everyone. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. And please know the reason I did this too is just to let you know you find love in the strangest places. So as always, be kind, subscribe, share, watch, do what you do. Thanks everyone. I hope everyone has a beautiful rest of their day.